There we go.
Go.
Do you really want
There you
me,
go, Nick.
myself, and
Oh, we're on the screen.
It's not over when we're sober. Yeah, I got a reputation, crying like a Britney meme. They call me a cloud chaser. You're chasing surgeries. I get a little nervous, now I'm self-sabotaging. You be thinking I'm perfect, are you on narcotics? Are you drunk or high? Do you really want me, myself, and I? Think things over when you're sober. You ain't no stat to me, no triple double by balcony. It's not over when we're sober.
But time after first date, and you got right back to me. I liked it straight, no chase. You like the umbrella on your daiquiri. I'ma do soul searching, last off like Team Rocket.
You be saying I'm worth it, are you on narcotics? Are you drunk or high? Do you really want me, myself, and I? Think things over when you're sober. You ain't no stat to me, no triple double by balcony. It's not over when we're sober. Yeah, and right before you go and sip on the rum, I'ma need you to go piss in this cup. You need a drug test and answer my questions. What did you take to make you fall in love? Ooh, wait, you're sober.
The Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News has you covered for all your gaming needs with news, guides, walkthroughs, and reviews. Like this week's featured article reviewing the brand new arcade-style Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge.
Woo.
Stay informed with their weekly Shack Chats, where they discuss the hottest topics in the gaming world. And remember, you can join in on all the conversations by using the Shack News Cortex. So if you're a gamer, Shack News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle @CheckNews and at CheckNews.com.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio! Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world! The Big Play Reflog Show!
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I know damn now. Attack by Chuck. To the 10. He's still running to the 5. Gives up to the
It's time! The Big Play Reflog Show!
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my two favorite people, Chris McNeil and Nick Padone. I'll start with the father in the room. Chris, happy belated Father's Day, sir. How are you?
And same to you, Dave. How
You
was
guys
your
have a good-
Father's Day?
It's good. You know, take a quick break from sports for a day and
Sure.
right back at it, man. You know how it goes.
Oh, absolutely. I brought the boys to Pins Mechanical, which is one of those places where you can play arcade games and they're all free there, and kind of just have a nice afternoon. And it was great. We were playing like Mortal Kombat and Burger
Wait,
Time and
Wait, what is this?
Pac-Man. And
It's free?
totally.
Is it like a bar? Like a bar? Like we have one in Lakewood. I think like Bit 8 or Bit
Bit or
16
something like that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got different ones that are more barish, but this one is a bar, but it's big enough. During the day, they allow kids in until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then it becomes adults only. But during the day, it's all free. Bring the kids in; they have a good old time. So we've got two of them. One that's in Easton, and the other one is over in Bridge Park in Dublin. So
No kidding.
pretty cool. Yeah, if you see one of those coming up north, Pins Mechanical, it's pretty sweet.
I'll have to check that out. Do you remember Aladdin's Castle?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Nick,
yeah.
no, you have no idea what that is, right?
Oh, no idea. What are we talking about?
It was like back in the day, you'd go to an arcade and you'd have little Aladdin. It was called Aladdin's Castle, and it was in the mall. And you'd have coins that you'd put into these video game machines to play them.
That's pretty cool.
Could you
Yeah,
imagine- I was thinking the other day with this Pins Mechanical, where it's like all free arcade games all throughout the place, right? Do you imagine going back, like, when we were kids, telling us that, hey, there's going to be places where you can go to, all the arcade games are free. You're also going to have a computer in your pocket that's got the internet and anything you want to at any time. And like, you're still going to somehow be bored sometimes. Like, how does that happen? You're going to have streaming services that's got every movie on it. It's amazing. It's amazing to think.
That's right. That's right.
You got this podcast.
And this podcast, right?
Come on.
Yeah. Nick Wary checking in. Happy belated Father's Day. Back at you. Nick's going to be on next week. We're talking hot dogs next week with Nick and Mickey. Looking forward to that. Bill, what's up, man? He says, let's go Guardians. Natalie is a great guest. Yes, she is. We should probably stop talking so we can get to her at some point too here. So we have a great show. And Nick, hi, by the way.
What's up, guys? I'm glad to be here. What's going on?
All right, we're going to kick it off with Cleveland headlines brought to you by TSE into our featured interview with SI writer Natalie Turk. After that, finish up with the Guardians trivia, who wants to be a billionaire, and we will call it a show. Let's kick it off with those Cleveland headlines. Cleveland headlines, we got to get rid of that Baker graphic, are brought to you by our good friends at TSC Cleveland. They've helped us give away a ton of signed Browns merchandise, so make sure you're following them along at TSC Cleveland on Twitter to look for those weekly giveaways. Last week was a Wyatt Teller jersey. Who knows what could be next? Check it out. Okay. Biggest headline out there, I would say, this week, Cleveland.com. A new stadium for the Browns. It might be in the works. Will it have a dome? Will it not have a dome? Peter John Baptiste of the Haslam Sports Group refuted that they are looking into building a new stadium. It says, contrary to speculation, we have a little statement out here. What's it say? Does not contemplate a new stadium. Significant renovation at our current one is the premise of the study. If they were to put out a new stadium, Chris, Nick, where would you like to see it? Nick, start with you because you're living downtown now.
Dude, I am such a proponent for keeping it on the lakefront. To me, like when I think of Browns football, I think of it on the lake. So anywhere on the lake. I know they got the old like private airport that doesn't really fly anything out of there anymore. Maybe put it there. I don't know. I think you got to keep it on the lakefront. I've seen all kinds of speculation of where they could move it. Nobody wants to go to a Browns game in Strongsville or Parma. Let's keep it downtown, keep it on the lakefront, and I think that's the best spot for it.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think?
I don't know. The Browns are so snake bitten. There's a part of me that just says, let's double down. So if you're going to put the stadium anywhere and you're going to move it, maybe move it to the other side of the city, go right there next to Jacobs Field or, Progressive Field, put it right over the cemetery. Just double down on this.
Wow.
Right?
Oh,
I mean, there couldn't be anything bad that happens out of that, right?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, though. I walk
yeah.
to the cemetery all the time after games. Just put it right there. Why
Knock
not?
down a couple parking garages that are $5 parking over there. Yeah.
And you notice that restaurant at the corner, I think that's still for lease. So there's some open land right there around that cemetery. So just build it right on the cemetery. I'm sorry to all the families that have people that are in there. I mean, I don't think they buried anybody in years, but
I'm sure they're Browns fans. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably love it. It's like scattering your ashes. There's a lot of family members that want their ashes scattered. We're just kind of doing it in the reverse order.
Just putting it right on top.
I'm with you. That I don't know. There's
No
so
way
much
that could turn out bad.
There's so much open space down there that you could still put in way more bars, restaurants. I know it's kind of off the beaten path, but they have that Mexican restaurant down there on East 9th. They have a couple of places. I know it's kind of scattered with the Science Center and the Rock Hall, but you could still make that lakefront very, very cool. I don't know if they ever will, but we're getting there. 2 rumored locations. Let's see. One is near Progressive Field, like Chris, you were just mentioning. The other is on the other side of 90. I don't think I'd like that. I don't think that makes any sense. The other option they were talking about was putting a dome on the stadium. I feel like that's a hot button issue today. You could host a bunch of stuff. You could have concerts there during the winter, Final Four, whatever. You kind of lose the old school vibe of the Cleveland Browns. Buffalo's building a new outdoor one, I think in like 3-4 years from now. Thoughts on a dome?
Yeah, okay. I just want it still to be open. I mean, I want it to be open for the weather, and if we're in the playoffs, I want that thing to be open. I don't want to have, that the chance that it could be closed by like the NFL or somebody making a decision just because the weather gets bad. Because I want to see bad weather playoff game that the Browns are involved in. And I don't want to see that as a threat. But, other than that, I guess it's fine. Everybody talks about the events that are kind of come in, and I'm sure they're going to commission all kinds of studies that say, the city of Cleveland's going to make so much money if they put a dome on it. And all of those estimates are always way off.
Chris, how many events are you going to if there's a dome that's down there?
And maybe another Kenny Chesney concert, right?
Maybe
like they always do.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we need a dome. Nick, I could see you liking a dome. I went to a game in Detroit. It was the Dante Culpepper game where Matt Stafford got hurt, where we lost. I'm sure you've seen that on YouTube. It felt like the IX Center watching like arena football. I really didn't like it.
Okay.
Jerry's World was obviously very cool.
Yeah, so I went to US Bank Stadium up in Minneapolis, and it's very much a dome. It's not retractable, but they have it like an open air concept where you could still feel the breeze coming through, but there's like no snow that's ever going to get in there. And I really like that. I get what you're saying. It was kind of an arena football feel, but I'm very pro dome. Like ever since I was in Pittsburgh for the 0-16 game, and it was like New Year's Eve, it was below zero. I was like, every professional sporting event facility should have a roof on top of it. Like that was my stance walking away from that game, and I've never changed since. That was the coldest I've ever been. And also with like the whole playoff thing and home field advantage in Browns football, that's not a thing anymore. Like we act like that all the time. And Kyler Murray from Arizona, rolls in here in the dead of winter and just hands a L to the Browns. That's not really a thing anymore. So I'm all for just putting the lid on it, keeping the fans warm. And like you said, it doesn't really attract all that much. Maybe a Kenny Chesney concert, maybe Logan Paul will fight in there, some WWE or something.
There you go. Get your plug in, Nick. Get your plug in.
But dude, right? What are we gonna get? WWE like for a night? I don't think it's not that big of a deal. But I would love it for Browns games. I think it would just make it way better.
Let me ask this question though:
Sure.
Do you have any emotional connection to the stadium as it is right now? I mean, if they were to bulldoze it tomorrow,
I don't
put
care.
something else up, would you care?
Not at all.
No, and it's weird because I grew up with season tickets. I would go to the games with my dad, but no real emotional connection. Like as long as the Browns were still here, that's really
right. Exactly. It feels so sanitized. I mean, it's like a corporate experience whenever you go to the games. I feel nothing for it, which is funny because Cleveland Municipal, and I actually will get tears in my eyes when I think about that dump that we used to get games in, and to see that thing get pushed into the lake, that was kind of, that kind of tugged at the heartstrings a little bit.
There was some winning there, Chris.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of winning there.
Yeah. Would it feel like if they destroyed this, that it would be kind of like, washing away the sins of all the bad things that have happened? Like
Wayne Rudd, helmet throw, bottle gate. I mean, we've got all the great moments.
Yeah. Billy Vegas. I mean,
oh yeah. Tear it down. Whatever.
Forget about it.
I do like where it is, though. I do like where it is. Yeah.
Build that stadium over the cemetery right now.
Hey, we haven't talked Cleveland Cavs in a while. June 23rd, coming right up, 14th pick in the 2022 draft. Nick, you are a resident guru when it comes to prospects. Is there anyone you want out there, or is there a position that you think that the Cavs need to address going into this offseason?
Yeah, I'm excited for the draft. I always am. I don't really know as much about it going into this one because it's weird. And I think a lot of Cavs fans are in this spot where we're the 14th pick. Like we're used to being really good with LeBron and not having a pick at all, or being really bad and gunning for a top 5. So 14 is definitely a different spot for sure. We've seen good players be drafted at 14. Clyde Drexler was the 14th pick. Bama Adebayo, who is just in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Heat, was a 14th pick. So there's generations of talent at that spot. I think they need a wing that can score, guys. That's the missing piece. And I know last year we loved the big ball with Laurie and Allen and Mobley all on the floor together. But I think at times that lineup was like, man, if there was a dude that was actually a little normal size that could create his own shot, that would really take this thing to the next level. So I like that Malachi Branham from Ohio State. I know it's such a homer thing to say. He went to St. Vincent St. Mary's, then became a Buckeye, one and done. He's a young player that could score. It seems like a shoe fit to me.
Yeah, last guy from St. Vincent St. Mary was all right.
Yeah, he was all right. And this dude was Mr. Ohio basketball and all that too. So who knows? But I think the Cavs are in a really good spot. Like, regardless of what they do with this pick, they're going to get their guys healthy, and they got a really good young group. I think Sexton's going to be back. I personally operate under that belief, so I'm excited.
Have the Cavs ever drafted a Buckeye?
That's a good question.
I'm going to have to look that up. Right now, there's somebody out there going, "You idiot. You didn't think of..."
Right. How did you not remember blank? Not that I can think of.
I don't know. We always make a big deal about it with the Browns.
Right. Well, I mean, they passed up like Michael Thomas and,
right.
pretty big names. Yeah, I don't know. Comments, get on that. All right, we're going to move on to our featured interview because we want to talk some Guardians. Let's move it on in with Natalie Turk in our featured interview of the week. Let's get it going.
Oh, I can't hear.
I can't hear you.
Dave, you dropped off.
Oh, now I can.
Are we good?
Yes,
I'm
now I
good.
can hear you, Dave.
There we go.
I can hear you.
That mute button that I've got on there. Today on the Labatt line, we have SI writer and editor for Any Sports Insiders, Natalie Turk. Natalie, how are you? Welcome to the Big Play Reflux Show.
I am well. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously want to talk some Guardians with you. But first and foremost, friend of show Matt Lodi, he was on the show, back in the day, and you were lucky enough to work with Matt and get to know him before he passed. Any stories you can share about Matt that maybe some people who didn't get to know him or just read his articles that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so Matt's really important to me for a couple of reasons. I used to be a political writer and I wanted to get into sports writing. And I reached out to him probably somewhere around 2015 just to kind of throw that idea out to him because I'm an avid sports fan, and politics will make you just want to ram your head against the wall. So I didn't want to write for that anymore.
Unlike Cleveland sports, of course. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right. I made a bad choice, but I'm kidding. So Matt immediately just took me under his wing. He was just such a great guy. And we developed a friendship and a mentorship. He let me, write for him. And it is directly because of him that I was able to land a writing job with SI. And so a little bit that I did want to say, and it was funny, we'd be in the press box sometimes, and I had lived more in the country, as he called it, out by Kent State. And, it's about a 50-some minute drive to me for the ballpark. So he would always offer for me to stay at the house there with him and his wife, if I needed to. He's just such a gentleman. But he's also very, as you guys know, and I don't know if the listeners know, just really funny. He has a way of just being sarcastic and maybe kind of poking fun at you without, you couldn't be mad at Matt. So after his passing, it was really hard for me on just a personal level, but also with everything that he brought to the Cleveland media. I would look every once in a while at the website, neosportsinsiders.com. And all of the previous summer, he had wanted to make that one of the, top websites for, at that time, Indians coverage. And we would always text back and forth and put up different articles. And after his passing, it was just really sad to see it go stagnant. And I reached out to his wife, who put me in touch with his partner, CJ. We talked for about 2.5 hours on the phone, and I decided to take on more work. I don't really know why, but it's really for Matt. And I decided to get a group of writers going and try to keep this website going for one purpose only, just because Matt helped so many people. I reached out to probably 100 of the old writers that he had. They have moved on to some of the greatest jobs within ESPN, just all over the nation as well. The impact that he made at Ohio Media School, for example, I've taken over the internship that he used to do there. So I'm bringing some interns on, giving them some chances. So that's really one thing I really just wanted to kind of bring on to let everyone know, to, anyone that knew Matt or has heard of him, we're keeping the Twitter going exactly the way he wanted it. It's NEO Sports Inside. And then the website is neosportsinsiders.com. And it's, just basically for him and out of, the memory and what he meant. And it's going to stay exactly the same. So we're going to have some WWE in there because, Matt was a great fan of the WWE and different things. So, and the goal is I can never be as great of a person as he was, but if I can help as many people as he did in the industry, even like half, I will consider it a success.
That is awesome. We had Matt on. It was right after The Rock gave him the shout out on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the coolest things. So that, talk about, making an impact. That's pretty cool. You talked about the Ohio Media School. So what are you guys doing with the site, with those interns? Like how did Matt get started on that, and how's that process going?
So Matt was an instructor at the school.
Okay.
And so with his passing, then they lost not only an instructor, but a connection that they had where Matt would bring, the interns on. So I didn't get into that immediately. I started the website in January, and I just started like putting tweets out, just trying to find writers. I finally found a core of 5 guys that are still with me and are still writing. But the media school, Huda reached out to me from the media school, and she actually reached out to the website, and we talked, and she was just so excited to they had a great relationship with Matt. So Matt, each class that would come through, he'd pick, 2 or 3 interns at least to write on the site with him. And then also, attend some events or whatever to cover with him to get their hours in. So right now I have 3 interns from the Ohio Media School, and I'll be taking my first one with me to the first game of the Twin series when they come home on the 27th. So that'll be fun. And it's just a big chance. I am so busy during baseball season that it's crazy. So I'm still taking out the time though, because I want to make sure that I can do a good job with the internship for sure. So I have my core group of guys that are, contributing for me outside of the school, and then the 3 interns now. So, and hopefully that's a revolving door going forward. Each class within the media school, that they will realize that it's a great stepping stone to write for NEOSI. And some great stories. We just had one of the writers covered. Matt was also really into local, like high school coverage. That was a very big deal to him. And that's something that I wanted to make sure that we kept for the site. So we had coverage of the baseball state finals, and the writer that I sent down there said everyone just kept coming up to him and telling him stories about Matt and how Matt had inspired them. So it's everywhere we go and we say that we're, still keeping this going for Matt. You'll sometimes just get this wave of like emotion and good energy just coming back from you as you hear everyone that he impacted. So when you think he's impacted, so many people, then you go somewhere else and realize how many others he's impacted. So it's just a really good thing to be a part of.
So Natalie, let's take it on the field now.
All right.
What do you think about the Cleveland Guardians so far this year? We're 1 game out right now. A team that's obviously young, a team that, the expectations, there weren't a whole lot going into this season. I think you'd agree. What do you think about this team right now as we sit, just short of the 4th of July?
Well, when I look at this team and I look at it compared to probably last year this time, I think that the young guys, the rookies that we have, are really starting to gel and find their place. I think they're gaining confidence. I think last year there was a lot more platooning of positions than there are this year as well. So they're getting more consistent play. And I think that they're really realizing that they can win and they are here and they do belong here. So I feel an energy with them. And you can tell they're very gritty. They don't quit. And, not to be negative, but I kind of am at times. Last year, if it's 9th inning and we were down 2 or 3, I'm sorry, but I'm going to figure it was over. And now, this team has been coming back and showing they have the ability with, 2 outs, 2 strikes to come back and win games. They've had several walk-offs. They don't quit. And that is something that I can really see that's different from last year. And the other thing is, with Jose, leading in RBIs and the chase he's going through, it's important to note, if the guys weren't getting on base, he wouldn't be able to have the runs batted in. So I always thought they weren't super patient at the plate. I would get very, annoyed with the at-bat sometimes. And this year I see a difference at the approach at the plate at a lot of the players. They're getting on base, whether it's drawing walks, just getting bunting, getting an infield hit. So, in a long-winded answer, that's what I'm seeing, a difference that I think that playing small ball and just really playing together as a team is what the difference is.
Is there any one player that you kind of look at and say, boy, I really didn't see that coming this season from this guy?
I'll say Eli Morgan.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I did it Behind the Dream series is something that I write for SI, which I look at the journey all the way up and behind. And last year I did one on him when he started the game. Poor guy, called him Monsoon Morgan because that was the game with the 80-mile-an-hour winds and rain that he had to pitch in. And now I've named him Elite Eli, I think, because I see the change in him. So with the different role that he's gotten from now that they put him in the pen, I think, he's found his place there. So, yeah, that's probably, if I had to choose just, off the top of my head, one of the guys that, I didn't expect to see such a great turnaround as I have.
Well, that leads me to, we came into this season thinking our starting pitching is going to be solid. And it's really been the bullpen that's been kind of leading the charge here. And he's a big part of that. What have you seen out of this bullpen?
Yes, you're correct. So it's always the starting pitching sometimes that they really want to rely on. And, luckily they haven't been quite as injured. But what I see from the pen is, the ability to make sure that they can, eat up those innings if they need to. With the shortened spring training as well, that was really important because the starters weren't stretched out as much. So they're gaining into that. Clase has been amazing. I mean, I said something one time that I probably shouldn't say on the air because I got laughed at, but I see like a young Mariano Rivera with him. So I'm not comparing him to that, but I see such potential in him. So he is just on fire lately. I think it's 14 saves or whatever he has. So, and then in the middle of the bullpen, like I said, we have Henches down there. We have Sandlin, Brian Shaw. Yeah. So,
Still.
right. But yeah, so I think the bullpen is what, we need them to be able to, get to Class A. So, or, help the starter if they can't go so far into the game. And that was a struggle also last year. And that's becoming just more of a stable presence this year.
Natalie, how much of the Guardian success would you credit to Terry Francona? Because it feels like, you made the comment last year where it did feel like they were giving up at times. Now this year it's a different vibe. And the one big difference is that Tito's back in the dugout, right?
Yeah. So, he did leave late July last year or whatever. And then DeMarlo was there, DeMarlo is great as well. But I think you can even see him sometimes, having a little bit of fun with the guys. I think that now that Tito, has gotten some of the health issues and he just wasn't feeling, his best, and he can enjoy the game. He always says more. That kind of transcends into the players. And he's a big supporter of his guys, and, it's great to see him get thrown out. What was it, a couple weeks ago? That really sparked a fire. They played well since then. So, I do credit him for just, he gives them, he lets them be, he doesn't overcoach them. He lets them, in my opinion, play, and he lets them, show them what he's got. And sometimes he gives, some fans get, up in arms sometimes on Twitter because maybe some player, for example, why I hear the tweet all the time. Why is Tito still letting Straw hit in the leadoff role? I mean, Twitter will just slice it up and down, but we got to remember that.
No, I can't believe it.
Right. So, the thing is, he's one of the best, we all know that Terry Francona is. So, and the players have that trust in him, and he also lets, like I said, doesn't overcoach them, lets them play. And I think that's really important. And that's a big step from last summer.
Hey, Natalie, what's your gut feeling heading into this, next few weeks of baseball? It's a tough go. We've got Jose, I think he's accounted for like 31% of our runs for the year. Obviously he's had some injuries, right? He's had some injury troubles with the thumb. What's your feeling heading into these next few weeks?
Well, I think coming off of the sweep in Colorado, and then I think it was really big to win the series in LA. So when that happened against the Dodgers, I think that gives, some respect. You got to look at this team and give them some respect that they were able to do that. So we are entering a time, though, like you said, they're going to face the Twins twice. That's going to be huge. We need to make sure, and I always say we, like I play on the team or something, but anyway, we need to make sure that
we all say we. You're allowed to say we.
I find myself doing it all the time. Some people call me out on it, but whatever. So anyway, we, just need to make sure that these are really important games. And I know the guys know it as well. And their energy level is through the roof. I mean, when you're around them, well, especially Naylor. So Naylor wants all the smoke, like they said. But I mean, so they know, what's on the line here, and they're going all in. So their energy level, their team level is just, they're united. So they have this, like I said, don't stop attitude about it. So I know that they know what's on, ahead for them. So I think, between Bieber's been looking so much better his last couple starts. So, I'm really happy to see that. So I think that they honestly, and that's not me just, being a fan or anything. It's actually from, interacting with them and covering them every game, is that I think that they have a genuinely, good chance to make a nice run in the next couple of weeks with these big series coming up.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
Yes.
crossed. All right, Natalie. Well, we greatly appreciate the time. Please plug the site again where everyone can see all of your work and the great things you're doing with Matt Lodi's old site.
Yeah, it would mean a lot to me. So with Matt Lodi's old site, it's Twitter is at NEO Sports Inside, and then the website is neosportsinsiders.com.
Awesome. All right, and follow Natalie on Twitter. She is in our show title. Natalie, thank you so much for the time, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Natalie.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Great stuff from Natalie.
More positive Guardians vibes here, Dave. I just love that.
It's hard
Week
not
after
to
week.
right now, Chris.
Week after week, man. We didn't expect it come, 4th of July now, and we're still in this thing. It's fantastic.
It's insane, guys, how many people were all out on this team, and it seems like that Jose extension got done, and just how the tables have turned. It's
Yes.
One of the most exciting stories in Cleveland. We dreaded talking Guardians when we had the Cavs are fun meter. We had Browns offseason just starting up, and
Cavs are fun meter. You had to bring that back up. Let's not start a Guardians are fun meter, please.
I don't do.
They're
People are
ruining
asking
the
for it. People
season.
on Twitter are asking for it.
That is true. They are asking for it, Chris.
They aren't. They aren't.
Dusting off the Canva.
Don't
Let's
make
go,
it
Nick.
happen. Do not make that happen. I like how, Nick, you're like, there's so many people who are out on this team, like as if I wasn't one of them. I mean, I'm as guilty as anybody. Like, who was
Everyone
saying,
was.
this is a team that's going to compete deep into the summer? There's no doubt. Watch out this fall. The Guardians are going to be making a run. No
Nobody.
way. I wasn't
Yeah.
It was going to implode if we didn't sign Jose. Like everything we'd have 31% less runs. It would have all went to shit. It would have been completely horrible. We would be wearing the Dolan clown shirts everywhere. And it all
literally a
worked out.
third
So
of our runs would be gone. That's incredible.
all right, let's give away some beer. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
It's time for Who Wants to Be a Billionaire. Who Wants to Be a Billionaire, presented by Labatt Blue. Each week, one contestant gets their chance to answer Guardians trivia for a chance to win. We start with cash for a 6-pack, on to a 12-pack, on to a 24-pack, and one final question. Take home a case of beer and a GVR shirt. This week, we welcome in Brad at Bradley G3232 to Who Wants to Be a Billionaire. Brad, what's up, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining Who Wants to Be a Billionaire. So you've got a lot on the line. If you get stuck, you can phone a friend. Reflog will give them a call. And are you ready to go?
We're ready.
All right. How confident are you? 1 to 10. Guardians trivia. Indians trivia.
Is it history or present?
A little, mostly history.
Okay, I feel pretty good.
Okay.
Brad's got a
All right,
really
question.
solid background. I like that background there. He's got the whole
Heck
bar
yeah. What do we
vibe going
got
on.
there?
Yeah.
Very well done.
We got to add some Labatt's to that background, man. Let's do it.
That's my brand too. I actually married a girl from Rochester, and that's all they drink up there. So
There we go.
I
There you
got it
go.
a long time ago.
Love it. All right, here we go. Question number 1. In 2009, the Guardians received 3 pitchers: Justin Masterson, Nick Hagedorn, and Brian Price in a trade with the Red Sox. Which longtime Cleveland catcher did Boston get in return? Think about it. You know this one. I'm going to give you a clue because you got the sweet shelf in the background. He cried when he got traded.
Victor Martinez.
He's come up a couple times recently.
I was gonna say,
Dude, he was one of my favorite
just to make sure
Indians.
that
I
wasn't
was
a
thinking
question.
him as a Tiger, not a Red Sox, so that kind of messed me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave and I hit the streets of Cleveland for some big play trivia, and somebody thought Michael Martinez was Victor Martinez and was screaming at us about it.
2 very, very different people. Question number 2. Would you like to move on for a 12-pack of Labatt?
Yes, sir.
All
All right,
right.
here we go, Brad. For cash for 12-pack of Labatt. The Guardians begin a series with the Twins tomorrow night. Prior to the 2021 season, the Guardians signed a noted Cleveland killing left fielder from Minnesota. Who was that outfielder?
As we told you, we were going to do all historic.
Lefty, what year was this?
So this is 2021.
Correct.
Prior to the 21 season. This guy would kill us.
We signed him prior to the
No,
2021 season.
Rosario.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Earned himself a ring.
All right.
That
you got-
signing still aggravates me.
really?
I mean, he just didn't pan out here, and then went and won a ring, and he was like a Indians killer when he was with the Twins.
Yeah. Oh,
All right,
All
all right,
right,
moving on.
12. We got 12. Would you like a case of Labatt?
Case of Labatt.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Question number 3 for a case of Labatt. In 2009, the Guardians and Cavs actually had players with the same exact name as each other. The Guardians player was a relief pitcher who spent 6 seasons in Cleveland and now plays in the Twins bullpen. Who is this reliever?
No clue.
All right, we could go with a hint here. He has the most generic name of all time. Same name as a Cavs player.
Joe
That's a good
Smith.
one. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
You should give him a hint. Even before it comes out of your mouth, he's all over it. He's killing it with the hint game.
I forgot about Joe Smith on the Cavs.
Yeah, I did too.
All right. You have a case of Labatt. Would you like to move on? If you move on, you miss it, you lose the case. This is for a case and a GVR shirt.
Oh, can I pipe in on this one? Go for it.
All
What?
right.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Question. Go for it.
I'm going to the game Saturday, so I need a shirt to wear.
There we go. All right, Chris, give it to him.
Jose Ramirez is neck and neck with Aaron Judge in the early season MVP race. Jose is having one of the best seasons by a Cleveland player since Albert Bell's historic 1995 campaign. Which former Red Sox first baseman notoriously won the MVP over Albert Bell in 1995?
Move on.
Boom. I knew you had that. As soon as I read that question.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done, man.
Congratulations.
All right, guys.
Mo Vaughn sat courtside at one of my high school basketball games.
Really?
Wow, that's random. How'd that
Yeah,
happen?
super random. I still don't know how it happened. I have a picture with him though. I
Just
didn't
trolling Cleveland after
Yeah,
he won that?
Yeah, just hanging out. Yeah.
Hang out at high school games?
Yeah, this was, less than 10 years ago too. So it wasn't that long ago.
Brad, congrats on the case of beer and the GV art shirt. There's a lot to pick from there.
All right.
Thoughts on the Guardians thus far in the season?
Yeah, the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, I feel like there's just a whole nother level of intensity and excitement around them. The beginning of the year, they started off really slow, but I was listening to an interview you guys were having earlier, and I kept thinking to myself, like, Tito's, probably the biggest piece to all this. And then at the end of the interview, you guys started acknowledging that. But it's crazy how young they are and how well they're playing. It seems like Tito's always the person who can take a puzzle and different pieces and put it together. So I give a lot of credit to him.
Yeah, especially when everyone's so young too. It's crazy. Thoughts on the Buckeyes coming up for football? I see the shirt.
Yeah, so they're going to be really good. I think their offense has the potential to put up historic numbers. If their defense can just be halfway decent, I think they'll be back in the Final Four and potentially a national champion.
Heck yeah. Well, you'll have beer for it and a shirt. So
yeah, great.
You're ready. Brad, thanks, man. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Good work, man.
All right, thanks.
Crushed it.
Easy.
Yeah, that was a nice win.
That was. There we go. Yeah, Chris, good call on that. Anything from that era, guys our age are gonna know.
Yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, he's about our age.
Yes. Yep.
Albert Bell, Mo Vaughn. Come on, you're not going to forget.
Absolutely. That's
like asking a Bernie Kosar question. During Brown season, like you're just not going to miss that. That's not going to happen.
Nick, where did you say you saw Mo Vaughn sitting courtside?
Dude, he was at one of my games, and nobody on my team, knew or was related or anything to Mo Vaughn, so he had to probably have been there for somebody from the other team, or maybe one of the teams that was going to play later that day. I don't know. He was at one. I literally have a picture with Mo Vaughn because he's at my game, and like our coach, like during a timeout or something, one of the assistant coaches on the bench was like, "That's Mo Vaughn. Like that dude robbed Albert Bell of MVP like not that long ago." He's just sitting courtside at the game, and he was huge.
Chris, we were talking about municipal and like other stadiums just back in the day, and I remember going to a game with my dad, and it was Albert Bell and versus Chicago White Sox Frank Thomas, and Frank Thomas was up to bat and was trying to break, I forget what record it was at the end of the year. The Indians were horrible, and he was trying to break, I don't know if it was like what's that record? Like the double, or it's like the doubles and home runs. I forget what they call it.
Right. Yes.
What's it called?
Yeah, that's probably right.
Something like that. And I forget which pitcher we had, but it was like everyone is just chanting to walk Frank Thomas. And I forget who the pitcher was, but he could not throw a strike. And everyone was just cheering so loudly when we walked Frank Thomas. It was awesome.
That's hilarious. Wasn't Jason Grimsley, was it?
I can't remember.
Jason Grimsley and Albert.
I don't think so.
And the White Sox. They've got a little bit of a history there.
Oh man,
there has been 5 Ohio State Buckeyes drafted by the Cavs. To answer that question from earlier,
really?
Yeah, nobody.
Dave, for a 6-pack of Labatt and a GVR shirt, you name one.
Give me a year, Nick.
Dude, it's all over the place, really. There's
like anything within the last decade.
There's a 73. They actually took 2 Buckeyes in 73. They didn't go very far for the scouting that year. And then 70. Yeah, so the most recent Ohio State Buckeye drafted by the Cavs was 1980 when they drafted
that doesn't count.
Jim Ellinghausen, a senior from the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Wow.
Who could forget Jim?
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any of that 5 that we would know?
No.
Any names at all? No.
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 I was just thinking back, like the Celtics took few, but that was, the Blazers.
Yeah, Jared Sullinger.
Jared Sullinger, Greg Oden for
Conley. Where did Conley go originally? Was it the Grizzlies?
Yeah, he was there for a while. D'Angelo Russell,
yeah,
Buckeye.
Yeah.
Jimmy
yeah.
Jackson, didn't he go to
What
Dallas?
happened to that dude? He was on the Lakers point guard. He got traded to Brooklyn, I think.
D'Lo, he's with Minnesota now. He had a really
hanging
nice
out?
yeah, he had a nice year for the Timberwolves. He one of those dudes that dealt with some injuries for a while, but he had a really nice bounce back year this past season. It's good to see.
Nice.
Especially it's the Timberwolves, so who really cares? You know, you just root for the kid from Ohio State. But yeah, this year there will be 2 in the first round, which is kind of rare. So shout
Not
out to
gonna
the
lie,
Buckeyes.
it was kind of nice talking to little Cavs. It's been a while. I miss that team.
Dude, I miss them too. I think we're going to be talking a lot more about them because they're going to have some
Me
news.
too.
They got the Sexton thing. They got the NBA draft coming up. There's obviously free agency. They're not going to do a whole lot with, but they're going to be rumored in some trades. You know, Ricky Rubio is probably going to come back. There's going to be some news.
Heck yeah.
So Nick, do you have any like traditions for the NBA draft?
No.
Is
I
that like a
sit-
big
I
thing in
sit
your
by
house?
myself. I
No.
don't talk to anyone.
No, I don't care about the NBA draft
It's your
nearly as
pumpkin
much
pie.
about the NFL draft. The NBA draft, I just sit there and hope for the best. It's the ultimate crapshoot. Like the Magic have the number 1 pick, and we might not hear the kid's name ever again after it's announced on the stage. Whereas we have the 14th
Crazy.
pick, and it could be the next Bam Adebayo, and we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. So
Boom.
it's so hard to tell. You just don't know. We drafted Anthony Bennett over Giannis. Like it's impossible. You just don't know.
I knew we couldn't get through the show without somebody mentioning that.
Where football, you know, a little bit at least. Like Justin Gilbert, the Browns draft him. You hear that they never even met the guy prior to the, you know, phone call saying that we're going to draft him, and you kind of know, this might not pan out too well.
Worst draft of all, probably worst draft pick
Draft
of
of
all
all
time.
time, yeah.
I think so.
It's crazy that Johnny Manziel wasn't even the worst first round pick from that year's draft.
Now we've got Anthony Bennett
Bulldoze the
and
stadium. Bulldoze it.
Bulldoze it. Put it at the post office.
Oh, we've gone full circle. I think that's the way to end the show. Chris, you don't have any baseball cards, do you?
I don't, and I was looking. I've got 1
Ah.
pack. You can't really play with 1 pack unless you want to do every other one. We do. it
Well,
quick.
no, we can play with 1 pack real quickly. Just
Okay,
how
here we
many
go. I'm
can
opening
Nick
it right
name.
now.
I
you
like
want-
playing how many Nick can name because what was it? Over under was I think
Dude, you guys said it way too high last time.
I said
don't
it
have
at
the cards
3.5,
to do it.
and we went through 3 packs, and you got the under.
Yeah, we got there. I knew
All right.
the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, Chris, I'm gonna give you over under Nick knowing 2.5 out of this pack.
It's
Oh,
15 cards.
15.
Oh,
So
what
3
year?
I don't know the year. Let's see. This is 90.
90.
Alright.
Okay,
1990.
I'll do 1.5 over under.
It's a
20.
little closer to my birthday.
Oh, I'm gonna pound the over on this one. Come on, Nick.
All right, I'm taking the under.
Wow, on 1.5. Okay.
I'm taking the under. I'm
He
taking the
doesn't
under.
know who Ricky Henderson is.
I
Okay.
do now.
From the Giants, Will Clark, first base.
Nope.
Oh, jeez. This is gonna be
Right?
rough.
Yeah, right.
That should have been one you know. Jeff Robinson, pitcher, Tigers.
No.
Okay. Tim
We
Bel-
do basketball with one of these one
Nope.
time.
Tim Belcher, pitcher from the Dodgers.
Mm-mm.
Won't even pretend, Nick. No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, catcher from the Orioles, Bob Melvin.
No.
Also,
Don't
a
even-
manager, right?
Sounds like an accountant.
Yeah, no
Ah.
idea. What we should do is we should have a list of baseball players and just made up names, and I have to figure out
Oh,
which ones.
I just looked ahead. I may have a shot here.
Oh,
Maybe
boy.
not with this one though. From the
Okay.
Astros, Rafael Ramirez.
No.
Okay, this guy was an outfielder for the Oakland Athletics.
You're really giving him a.
It scares me when Chris hypes it
He-
up because then if I don't know it, I feel doubly
Right.
stupid.
Okay,
He knows
the
it.
old stadium.
Did a ball bounce off his head?
A ball bounced off his head for a home run.
Okay.
His name is Jose Canseco.
Oh yes. Okay, we got one. We got Jose.
Okay, you know
Canseco.
who that is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Still doing steroids to this day.
Yes.
Okay, this guy played for the White Sox. Yeah, you're not going to know this one. Carlton Fisk.
Uh-uh.
I have a signed baseball from him, Chris.
That's pretty cool.
Okay,
Catcher.
this
Very good.
catcher from the Phillies, Steve Lake.
No, cool name, but nope.
No. First baseman from the Rangers, Rafael Palmeiro.
Actually sounds familiar, but no.
Oh, God.
What? You don't know Rafael Palmeiro?
I mean, it sounds familiar, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
He testified in front of Congress along with
yeah,
Jose
he was
Canseco and Roger
huge.
Clemens.
Oh,
He was
okay.
part of the steroids.
Yeah, that's why it sounded.
Doesn't count.
Okay,
doesn't count.
outfielder from the Braves, Dale Murphy.
No.
Oh, the Stormin' Mormon. Nope. He was also very good. Okay, this one doesn't count. This is
The
a
dude with the
300
steroids that might be as close as we got.
Actually, I don't know one of these two players. 300 strikeout club. A guy by the name of Nolan Ryan, obviously, and then
Heard of that
Mike
guy.
Scott. Mike Scott.
I've heard of Michael Scott, Michael Gary Scott, but
Yes.
Pitcher from the Cardinals, Chris Carpenter. Nope.
nope. We got one.
Outfielder from your Cleveland Indians,
Oh, come on.
Dave Clark.
No.
Oh man,
How many more do we have?
We're down to 2.
Oh boy.
And he's got one.
That is correct. That is correct. This is a pitcher. This is another one you should know, but you won't. From the Mets, Ron Darling.
That's another one where it falls in the other category where it is
don't.
familiar, but I wouldn't be able to tell
Okay.
you one
I think
thing.
you noted that from like a show or a movie or something.
This one may save him, Dave.
Really?
He's a New York Yankee,
Okay.
but we know him in Cleveland. Alvaro Espinoza.
Hey,
Shortstop.
okay, we got 2.
There
wait,
you go.
wait,
That's
wait.
still the under though.
What position?
He's a shortstop,
Shortstop. He got it.
right?
No, that's the over. You hit it. You got 2.
No. Oh,
I
I
said
thought
the
the over was
1.5.
2.5. Oh, look at
Alvaro
that.
Espinoza and Jose Canseco for the
Wow.
win.
That was so lucky.
2 winners
that-
on tonight's show.
It was so lucky that Canseco.
We hit the applause and the womp womp button.
Canseco
Next show, we're
being
going to
in
go
there.
through Ohio State basketball draft picks. See how
There we
many you
go.
can identify.
My son just started collecting baseball cards, and we got a Nolan Ryan and a Robin Ventura together in a pack. Nick,
Nice.
do you know the connection between those two players?
Nope.
This was like a 22-year-old Robin Ventura, I believe, and a 40-year-old Nolan Ryan on the mound hits him. Robin Ventura charges the mound to go beat up this 40-year-old Nolan Ryan.
And immediately regrets it.
Nolan Ryan, with old man strength,
Love it.
takes Robin Ventura,
Love it.
headlock, pop, 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 beats the crap out of him.
Wow.
My son
That's a
thought it
cool
was the greatest
card.
story ever.
Yeah, that's a cool
Well, it's
card.
not on one card. There
Oh,
was-
I thought they like
That
made,
would have
like,
been a great card to make.
that's an NFT.
Yeah, for real. MLB Top Shot.
That's right. All right. Thanks for tuning into the Big Play Reflux Show every Monday night, 9 p.m. Go Guardians, go Cavs draft, go Browns off season. Huge shout out to Natalie for joining, talking about Matt Lody's site and how the cool things she's doing with that. Shaq News, go check him out on Twitch at shacknews.com. Go drink some Labatt Blue Lights this summer for July 4th. And go get some GV art and TSE memorabilia. We will see you next Monday night, 9 p.m. See ya.
It's time! Streaming live from Cleveland, Ohio! Presenting the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight podcast of the world, The Big Play Reflux Show!